Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me for another video. This is Quita from AtHomeWithQuita, and here I share tips on how to plan a balanced life. So if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. What is up, you guys? I am so excited about this video. Your girl is out in these streets feeling great, feeling like she's living her best life. Why ain't nobody tell me when you lose weight, it hits different, you feel different, life is different. When you get skinny-ish, okay, you start feeling yourself. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you all about it. I'm going to tell you what I've been doing. It's been a long journey. I feel like it has. I mean, it's been since September of last year when I started this whole journey. I've put out a couple of videos sharing with you guys my thoughts, how I feel, what I'm doing, what my vibe is. And I thought I would give you an update today. So let's get into it. Oh, did I mention it's Freebie Friday? Which means you'll be able to download a free printable insert as a part of today's video. So in this case, it's all about meeting your fitness goals, okay? That's what this video is about. So it's only natural that I'll include something to help you with that. So in this case, it's going to be our weight loss tracker, which I personally use in my planner. It's helped me to be able to track those highs and lows. If you know, you know, all right? So there is a graph there for you to be able to track all of that, the dips, the ups and downs. And then at the bottom, you'll be able to write in your weight week by week. So I'm really hopeful that this insert really helps you to get your life together in a fitness sense, if that's your goal. And so what you'll want to do is check the description below. It's going to have all of the details on how you can download that free printable insert. And I really hope that it helps you get your life. All right, you guys, today is the day that we talk all about what you guys have had a ton of questions about, which is hyperketosis, okay? It's the new thing. It's the new wave. It's the quickest way that I have seen to be able to lose weight super fast, but still in a healthy way, okay? Now, I typically don't do it for a super long-term period of time. I know it's typically a 40-day program, but I have never done it for 40 days, and I lost almost 50 pounds. Go me. Now, I have been doing that in addition to my staying in a calorie deficit, so I toggle between the two. But y'all, about 7 to 14 days is all your girl can do on it, okay? And I feel like that's good for me. And I feel like what it does, it just gives me a little bump, a little jump to kind of reset things and get me going. Losing 10 pounds in 5 days is always a good idea for me. You know what I mean? It's a yes for me. And that just kind of motivates me to just keep going. And then I will toggle back to my calorie deficit. My calorie intake is 1,500 calories a day. That's great for me. I did the math. I calculated my macros and all of that stuff. And that's what it told me my calorie intake should be. So that's what we do whenever we are in a calorie deficit. And I feel like calorie deficit is not hard for me because I don't deprive myself. I still eat what I want. I still eat fast food, all the things that I love. I don't take that away from me because I feel like it really helps me to see myself as things as normal. I feel like when I deprive myself so much, then it's not realistic for me to stick to it. So I have to give myself a little bit. And so I do allow myself to enjoy the things I enjoy. And so that's what's been helping me. So initially I did start with hyperketosis. I did that for about 2 weeks. I lost 25 pounds and then I switched over to my calorie deficit. And you guys know how I feel about planning. My planner has been a lifesaver in terms of keeping me on track with my weight loss goals because I write it all down in my planner. If it's not in my planner, it ain't happening because I write my meal plan every single week. I look for creative recipes online. I add my own little spin to it. And then I have a page where I share those recipes with you all if you are on a weight loss journey in hopes that it will help you as well. So I've been creating a lot of recipes. I've been trying new things and I feel like staying in a calorie deficit because I'm still allowing myself to have those moments where I may go out and, eat the things that may not be the healthiest, but still keep me in the deficit. I've been able to succeed. So the combination of those two things is what we're going to talk about today. And so I thought it would be a good idea to kind of encompass everything all in one video. So we'll talk my journey. I'll show you before and after pictures. I'll tell you, what my starting weight was, where I am now. It's almost 50 pounds, not quite there at the 50 yet, but it's going to get there. Okay. Probably by early next week. So I'm going to share with you all of the recipes that I've been cooking for hyperketosis. I'm not going to share with you the recipes for my calorie deficit. I just feel like this video, I wanted to focus on hyperketosis because that is what has really maximized my weight. Okay, so first and foremost, and y'all, just because I love y'all and this is a safe space, I'm going to share numbers because typically I'm not a numbers girl when it comes to like, I have to work on just being more open. Although maybe you feel like I am pretty open here. I've been doing YouTube for some time and I share a lot, but I don't share everything. Okay. So typically this is not the kind of thing that I would share, only because I don't know, I feel like I may be a little embarrassed about it, but since I'm down now, I feel comfortable sharing it. Okay. So I started this whole journey at 225 pounds. I think my highest was 227. And that was September 10th of last year. And so as of today, I am I should have stepped on a scale before this video. I stepped on a scale this morning and it was 180, but I believe it's probably 179 because I went and I worked out this morning. I played tennis, and usually when I come home, it's a little less than what it was when I got on the scale in that morning. So I'm pretty sure it's probably between 180, 179, same thing, tomato, tomato. Okay. And so that is a great amount of weight. Again, it's not quite 50 pounds yet, but your girl's gonna get to 175. She is. It's gonna be probably mid next week. I'm really, really excited about that because the last time I've been 175 is crazy. Like I don't even know when. I feel like I haven't been anywhere near that since before my first baby. Yeah. And that's been a while because he's about to be 21 in about 5 days. So the weight that I am now, I haven't reached this low of a weight in years. So that's why I'm so proud of myself. And every single thing that I do, I try to be as transparent as I can by sharing with you on social media, on my reels. And that's why I said, let me just do one big YouTube video and talk about all the things. So you can just watch this from beginning to end. Hopefully you'll get a little inspiration out of it. You'll see all of the recipes I've been cooking. And then you can always go over to that Instagram or TikTok because I share the same content on both platforms. And you can see the breakdown of those recipes. I'm also coming out with an ebook. It's going to be a recipe ebook where I will give you all of the recipes for hyperketosis because I feel like there's not a lot of it out there only because it's so new. People don't really know about hyperketosis. People think it's keto. It's not keto. It's completely different. Hyperketosis it's not the same as keto. It's very restrictive. You can have certain things on hyperketosis that you can't have on keto or that you shouldn't, like apples, because that's been a huge debate on my social media. People are like, well, it's not keto. You're not getting in ketosis if you're eating apples. It's not keto. Let me just say that. And also let me say this. I am not the creator of this. So don't come for me. Okay. This is just a program that I started that has helped me. It's helped a ton of other people to drop weight quick. Okay. So if you're looking to drop weight like that, this is for you. And so, probably I did 2 weeks, then I did a calorie deficit. Then I went back on for another week, and 5 days I lost 9 pounds. Crazy, crazy work. So you see why I love this so much. Okay. So again, I don't do 40 days. I just go in and go out. And I've pretty much been able to lose the 50 pounds without really going up and down too much. Now, of course, you are going to go up and down, especially because I do have cheat days. I mean, I don't have one built in. I shouldn't, but every now and then I do cheat. And I just give myself grace. Because at the end of the day, it's all about getting back on track. Okay. So even if you have those moments where you say, hey, look, today is not that day, or you might have an event to go to, or just something that throws you off track. I feel like February for me, it was a lot going on. It was a little bit of a stressful month. I was a little bit discouraged about some things. Life was lifing. And so February was a lot of cheating, but I still lost a good amount of weight because I didn't allow myself to keep sitting in the feelings that I was feeling or in the moment. I snapped out of it and I got right back on track. And typically on track for me starts on Monday. I mean, of course, if I cheat on Monday, I'm not going to wait a whole nother week and then start over on that Monday. It's typically if I cheat over the weekend because I try to stay really good during the week. And then on the weekend, I may have my cheat moments. Okay. Now, when it comes to working out with hyperketosis, it's strongly discouraged. You don't have to work out. Of course, if you work out, do you? I do work out. Now it does say as a part of the program that it kind of holds you back a little bit if you work out. So just know you don't have to work out. Again, I play tennis almost every day. That's my workout. And I typically burn a ton of calories, y'all. Like there's days sometimes when I burn like 1,400 calories. It's crazy. Like today, that's why I'm still in my blue, because I played tennis this morning and I won, of course. Not that I'm the best, because I'm not. I mean, I do lose, of course. And I was out there hitting and I was like, who am I? Am I Serena? Am I Coco? Am I Madison? Like, who are you today? And so what I try to do going into that sort of thing when it comes to tennis or working out is that I view it as a workout. My tennis is a workout. Yeah, of course I want to win. I want it to be competitive. I don't want to let the team down. I don't want to let myself down. And when you get a win, it really helps your mental. I mean, for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need a win today. And when that happens, I'm like, yes. And so I try to just go out there and just view it as a workout. I set my watch and I go to town. And even if I'm on a track for losing, I still try to move and make sure that I'm getting to the ball and doing the most that I can do, whatever's in my control, to maximize that match. Okay, so that way I can burn the calories, because I feel like for me, it hasn't been a hindrance for me working out, doing hyperketosis, although again, the program does say you don't have to. I feel like it's helped me. So I try to move as much as possible. Moving is never a bad idea. So that's all that I do for working out, y'all. And I also, if you saw me on social media, you know that I ran a 5K. Now, I use the term run lightly, okay? Because your girl didn't run the whole time. She did a hybrid. But either way, a win is a win. And I'm still proud of myself because I did it. I woke up that morning and I was like, oh my gosh, I really don't feel like doing this. Like, I did not want to do it, but I already paid for it. I had friends coming out there. I couldn't bail out, but I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Okay. Now, you know, a 5K it's just 3 miles. So I knew in my head, once I, made it past a mile, then 2 miles, I knew I was good. But man, I was like, whew. And it really did show me that I'm still out of shape. Because I think I came in like, I was going to say I can tell you my exact results. I think it was like 200 and something place out of maybe 194th place out of 300 almost, or 275, something like that. So I took that as a win. I feel like as long as I wasn't last, I knew I wasn't going to be first. Then I'm good with that. And at the end of the day, even if I was last, I still achieved it. I crossed the finish line. You know what I mean? I got my little medal and I patted myself on the back. I was very, very proud of myself for that. And I'm actually looking forward to the next 5K. Okay, so let's talk recipes. You know what I do, hyperketosis hybrid with 500 calorie deficit. I also do intermittent fasting. And I think that that's one of the single most things that helped me to drop the weight so quick is intermittent fasting. It's crazy how that one little thing can really make the difference. So I start eating at 12 p.m. and I stop eating at 8 p.m. And y'all, surprisingly, I mean, it's been since September, I haven't really felt like hungry. Every now and then, of course, I'll have a cheat moment, but for the most part, I feel good. So I'm gonna stick to that. So that's my eating window. So in addition to that, and the other things I just mentioned, the 500 calorie deficit, hyperketosis, intermittent fasting, my workouts are tennis. Let's talk recipes, okay? That's what you're here for, right? You wanna know, what did I eat? And y'all, I be eating good. So I'm gonna share with you all of the recipes that I have in my stockpile, and I just kind of cycle them through. So I try new things. Yes, I try to incorporate new recipes every single week. But if something is really good, I'm gonna keep doing it, just because if it ain't broke, right? So I'm gonna share with you all those recipes, and I'll break down exactly how to make them. And then again, you can check my social media to get a full breakdown on each recipe right by recipe. I also try to post my before and afters a lot, so you can see those and stay up to date with my progress. And then I also try to post every now and then what I eat in a day, because I feel like people are very interested in, like, today, what did you eat? Because with hyperketosis, you eat 2 meals a day. If you're unaware or not familiar with the program, by the way, I'll link a free guide in this video if you want to download that. Also, I'll be coming out with an ebook. Again, I just mentioned that earlier, that will have a ton of recipes in there, make it super easy for you. Okay, so just a quick overview of the hyperketosis program. You eat 2 times a day. Okay, you are supposed to be intermittent fasting, so you don't start that meal until 12. And with each meal, you get to have 3 cups of vegetables. You get 1 cup of fruit, and you get 4 ounces of meat. So you need to be measuring everything out. Everything, okay? Your vegetables, get your cup, scoop it in. 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cups, okay? Don't think you can wing it. You can't wing it. You have to measure everything out, okay? And that was a big mindset adjustment for me, because I'm used to just you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I never measured anything out. So it's a real mindset shift for me too. Just to know that, you know, everything is about portion control. And so just a quick little overview of the program. Again, I have a free guide. It tells you everything. It's free. Download it if you want to get started, and it'll explain to you the whole entire program and exactly what to do. All right. So let's get into these recipes. All right, y'all, I had to scoop myself over because we're going to put the recipe right here. So that way you can see it. And everything that I make, again, is so delicious. I don't feel like there has been one recipe that I felt like was really bad. Now, again, hyperketosis is very restrictive, so there's only certain things you can have. And so it's a little bit of a challenge. You just have to be creative. And so usually what I'll do when I'm coming up with a new recipe is I'll Google keto recipe, and then I'll look at the keto recipe as the foundation, and then I'll pull out all the things that I can't have with doing hyperketosis. All right, so here's the first recipe. Okay, so these are cabbage roll-ups. All right, they're so easy to make, and pretty much all of the recipes I'm going to share with you are very simple, maybe 5-6 ingredients, which makes life that much easier. Okay, so now the one thing that I will say about the cabbage roll-ups that I made a mistake on is that you cannot have carrots. Okay, so if you're going to make these cabbage roll-ups, take the carrots out. Otherwise, and I really don't feel like the carrots made that much of a difference. I went again and looked up a keto recipe, and I saw that it had carrots, and I just put carrots in it. Now, it didn't hinder my progress. I still lost weight that week, but just know that on hyperketosis, you cannot have carrots. But this recipe was so good for the family. And of course, whenever I'm making something, I'm gonna make the recipe. I don't cook separately for my family like I used to. That was doing the most, and that's not sustainable for me. So they eat what I eat, okay? But what I do is modification. So if it's a recipe that may pair well with rice or tacos or tortillas or whatever, then I will make that for them and I won't have it. So for instance, I made some hyperketosis chili, which is this recipe here. And with the hyperketosis chili, I ate the chili by itself, but I made rice so that my family could put the hyperketosis chili over the rice. Now, I'm definitely a chili girl. And so with this recipe, when I went back into my calorie deficit, I repurposed the recipe. And so I got the Quest chips, which I absolutely love. They're protein chips. I love them in the loaded taco flavor, and I also love them in the hot flavor. I feel like the hot flavor, you can eat them by themselves. Quest chips are awesome. I love them. And they help you get your protein in. And so I just lay out those chips, and then I top it with the hyperketosis chili, a little pico de gallo, a little cilantro, okay, whatever is your vibe. And then instead of sour cream, I usually use a little bit of cottage cheese on top. So that hyperketosis recipe was so good. I'm definitely probably gonna make that next week. Okay, now who says you can't have a little Southern comfort? Because these greens were a game changer. Your girl loves collard greens. Like, it's literally a weakness of mine. It got me in a chokehold, okay? So I figured out a way to make them on hyperketosis, okay? They were so easy, literally a few ingredients, and I also used some turkey legs, okay? So I just threw it all in the pot with a little chicken stock, because you're only gonna cook with chicken broth. Chicken stock, that's it, no oils, okay? Just know that. And it gets easier over time, because if you're anything like me, I love a little avocado oil, a little avocado oil spray. But you can't do that, not on hyperketosis. You're only gonna cook in the chicken broth, which gives it flavor anyways. But the greens were greening. The greens were greening. Fun fact also, y'all, and I don't know if I should be in my feelings about this, but I gave, of course, my family ate it, my immediate family, so my son, who loves greens, obsessed with my greens, right? My husband, of course, Addison, right? Okay, so I made it for them. They ate it. Why did the boy say these greens are better than your usual greens? I was big mad. I was like, who you telling? I was not happy about it, because I've been making greens all these years, and I've removed all the sodium and all the extra stuff, the bacon, all the things that I add, okay? I removed that, and now you love it. Isn't that crazy? Now, I do add a little bit of the vinegar, of course, because that gives it that twang. I do add hot sauce. I add most of the things that I usually add in my greens, but not everything, because again, we're on a lifestyle change and things got to change. I couldn't, of course, do the same things that I usually do, because I throw everything in the kitchen sink in my greens. So I think what I'm going to do going forward is I'm going to keep it that same recipe and just add a couple of different things that I usually add, because if he likes them better and they're healthier for you, we're going to keep doing it. Okay, this next recipe, chef's kiss, one of my favorites. And y'all, I'm not typically that egg and tuna girl. Like, I'm not a big tuna person. Now, my husband and Addison are. So I did make a modified version for them. So their version had the typical stuff. So it had relish, and then it had mayonnaise and all the stuff that you typically put in a tuna egg salad. But mine didn't. And I took a little taste of theirs, of course, just to sample it. Mine was better. I feel like it was. Now, my husband may disagree, but this was one of the most delicious stuff. I still have some in my refrigerator right now because I'm about to eat it as soon as this video is over. One of the most delicious meals I've had. Again, well, just to let you know, with hyperketosis, you don't typically have breakfast because you're not eating until 12. So the 2 meals you're going to eat are typically going to be lunch and dinner. So that is the most perfect lunch, especially if you love eggs and tuna. And you guys, it was so filling. I only ate half of it. And usually, I mean, my appetite's changed in general. Anyways, I don't eat as much as I used to. I get full really, really quick, which I love for me. And so with that one, I ate half and then I put the other half in the refrigerator, but it was so good. And I just modified a few things. Of course, no relish, no mayonnaise, you know, certain things I'm not able to have. So I just took that out and I only put in there what I had. Again, very simple recipes. Pickles. I love pickles. And it was so delicious. You have to try it. If there's something that you take away from this video, if you're an egg and you're a tuna girl, is that, okay? And just know you're typically not supposed to have more than 2 eggs. That's also why I split the portion size in half, because you're only supposed to have 2 eggs as your protein. Just like you would have 4 ounces of meat, you have 2 eggs. So it's either or. And so I had already had 4 ounces of tuna in there and I had 2 eggs in there. So I just split it right on in half and I was perfectly fine. This is another really good and simple recipe, especially if you like fish. I'm definitely a fish girl. I love cod. I love tilapia. I love fish. I love seafood. So I made just a simple, quick cod recipe with spinach. It was very easy to make. You're just going to make the cod. Of course, you're going to make it only in what? Chicken broth, not oil, okay? And, or you could put it in your air fryer, which is what I did. I just popped it right on in my air fryer. I seasoned it up really well. And then I served it with a side of spinach. I love spinach, which I did cook in chicken broth. Spinach is one of my favorite vegetables when they're cooked right, okay? And so that was just a quick and easy dinner or lunch recipe. And again, dinner and lunch is pretty much interchangeable, so you can have whatever you have for lunch for dinner and vice versa. So I don't feel like you're stuck to having certain things for lunch that you can't have for dinner. Sky's the limit. Do you, whatever works for you. But that was just a quick, simple, easy, and delicious recipe that everybody loved. Now on this particular day, I was craving some shrimp and I wanted a stir fry. But of course, it's not your typical stir fry because we're hyperketosis, but it's pretty similar to it. And with this particular recipe, I served it with a side of rice for my family so that they can put, of course, the stir fry on top of the rice, which was great for them. But it was so easy to make and so delicious, y'all. I'm definitely a soy sauce girl. So I put a little coconut, or not coconut aminos, because that was my mistake before too. I put coconut aminos in something and somebody came for me in the comments on TikTok. Like, you cannot have coconut aminos. You could have liquid aminos, which I didn't realize there was a difference. Okay. So oops. I mean, I just didn't know that. So now I know. So I just put a little liquid aminos in there, all of the different vegetables and some shrimp, super easy and simple. And it was so delicious. Addison is a very picky eater, as some of you may know. If you're new here, you don't know that fun fact. She is. And she devoured it, y'all. And she devours every single thing I've been making now. I feel like my non-healthy stuff, she was always picky about. But my healthy stuff, she's not as picky about, which is crazy to me. But I love that for her. And I love that for me because then, I mean, I ain't got to fight with her to eat nothing. And she's eating healthy. And so it's so funny because the other day I was asking my husband, have you been dropping weight? Like, you literally have been eating like I eat. Are you skinnier? I mean, you look skinnier, but like, what does the scale say? And he was like, that's a good question. So I'm gonna check back in with him because I'm very curious to see, because you know, they sneeze and lose weight. And meanwhile, we got to run on the treadmill. We got to do all this and this and that. We got to eat this way and that way. And it still be hard for us to lose weight. And they can literally think about losing weight and lose weight. So I'm curious to see what the scale says because he is looking mighty dapper. And I love that for him because that means I'm doing my job. I want our whole family to live a healthier lifestyle, which I think I'm achieving that, okay? Low key. Even the boy, because he comes over every now and then to have dinner because life be lifing for him too. He is only 21, has his own apartment, and there's struggles, okay? So every now and then he will come over to eat. He doesn't come over for his laundry because he's got a washer and dryer in his apartment, but he will come over and pack a plate real quick. He will. He will. And I love that because I'm that mom. I mean, it just warms my heart just to see that people actually love what I make. Because as you guys know, if you're new here, you may not know this, but I love to cook. And so it's been a little bit of a challenge now because I can't throw everything in the kitchen sink in what I prepare. I have to be really strategic, really thoughtful, very demure, very mindful, okay, about what I'm making. And it's a challenge because, again, you can only have certain things. So you really have to be strategic because you want it to taste good, but at the same time, you are living this new lifestyle. So finding that balance can be a little tricky. But I feel like I'm in my zone now, okay? 50 pounds shows you that I'm in my zone, right? Okay, so that was such a delicious recipe. I would definitely recommend that as well. Again, with the simplicity of a good old burger, right? But you know what I did different? I was tired of the boring old lettuce wrap burger. I needed something a little bit different. So I decided to make a burger using mushrooms, portobello mushrooms. Now, I will say this, I am not the biggest mushroom girl. I'm not. And y'all, I took some bites of it and then I was like, this ain't for me. My husband loves mushrooms. Something about the look of them and the texture of them just don't sit right with me, okay? And the flavor, it's a different type of flavor. So just to keep it 100 and be completely transparent with you, I wasn't a big fan of the mushrooms. But I did eat it because I know it's good for me. But next time I probably will go back to the traditional lettuce wrap burgers because that's more my speed, okay? But I did want to try something new. I wanted to give it a fair chance. It really felt like a burger. It was very hearty. I seasoned it right, okay? I put all the things on top of it. It was so delicious, minus the mushrooms. And so that's just a quick and easy lunch idea. Again, everything's interchangeable, so don't just think because I'm saying lunch, you have to do it for lunch. But it was very good. And y'all, I just paired it with some fruit because again, you can have the 1 cup of fruit as well. So I've been loving my fruits and they give you a lot of options in terms of fruit. So my go-to fruits have been lots of berries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries. I also love peaches and plums. And I couldn't believe you could have peaches and plums on there, and apples. And y'all, I love green apples. So your girl has green apples in her fridge, okay? I also do love red apples too. I believe it's debatable. Some people say that green apples are worse for you than red apples. I'm not here to debate with you. Debate with somebody else. I'm going to have what I want to have, and my green apples are giving me life. And it, again, has not hindered my weight loss. So burgers are always a good idea. Try it with the mushrooms, see how you feel about it. But I'm going to go back to my old way, okay? It's just what's going to work for me. But again, still lost weight. And overall, yummy, just not my vibe with the mushrooms. Okay, so these last 3 recipes, I saved the best for last, okay, are so delicious. Hands down, in general, even not on hyperketosis, but just good food, okay? First and foremost, have y'all ever heard of palmini noodles? I had never literally heard of palmini noodles until I started hyperketosis. But y'all, let me just say, palmini noodles are almost better than spaghetti noodles. They are so good. They give the same texture, same vibe, same taste-ish. I mean, there's really almost no taste to it, just like spaghetti noodles. There's not really a taste to them. It's more about the texture and, you know, the mixture of it all, right? So I found palmini noodles. You can find them on Amazon, which, by the way, this week, haven't made the recipe yet. I'm making lasagna with palmini noodles. They have lasagna noodles as well as spaghetti noodles. So the spaghetti noodles I found while doing my regular grocery shopping at Walmart. And then I couldn't find the lasagna palmini noodles. So I went to Amazon, my favorite place, and I found a 3-pack of them. So I'm gonna be making palmini lasagna noodles next week. I'm so excited about it. I'm gonna use the same base, same thing that I used for the spaghetti. I'm going to use the same thing for my lasagna, except I'm going to add cottage cheese and some other things to really jazz it up. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about that. I'm curious to open the bag and really see the texture of it because I'm not sure how it's going to look and how it's going to operate. You know what I mean? If you understand what I mean. So I'm really curious about that. So I've got 3 packs of them. So we've got enough for a few meals. I'm not sure how many I'll use. So again, you'll see all that in the upcoming video, but that palmini spaghetti tastes just like regular spaghetti. I season it because I feel like spaghetti, the only thing that really adds up with the carbs is If you put like sugar in yours, which sometimes I do, sometimes I'll put a little butter in there, and the oil and the noodles. So without that, it really kind of gives healthy anyways. So all I did was just switch out the noodles for palmini noodles, super low carb, super healthy, very delicious, very, very delicious. So my family ate it as is. I didn't need to make a side of rice or anything like that. I did serve theirs with bread, and they devoured it in one day. Usually I have leftovers because I try to make enough for leftovers. I cook Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then the other days are leftovers, but there was no leftovers to be had. And so I love that. Anytime I see that, I'm like, a win is a win. A win is a win. Okay, so if you take anything away from this video, one, we talked about the egg and tuna salad earlier, this one and the next two, okay? You have to make those. Just in general, again, especially if, of course, you're on hyperketosis, but also in general, if you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle, if you just want some good food, of course, add to it, tweak it, you know, make it your own if you're not doing any sort of lifestyle things, but these recipes are hands down the best ever. So stay tuned for the next two. Okay, this sausage and kale was amazing. Okay, now again, well, not again, because this is the first time I'm saying this. I'm pretty sure you can have sausage on hyperketosis. Now, in the instructions, it says you can have turkey, ham, beef, you know, all the things. It doesn't say you can have sausage, okay? Now, I didn't do beef sausage. I did turkey sausage because I felt like that, of course, that's a healthier option. A little kale, some vegetables, very super simple recipe. Sometimes I feel like the simpler the recipe, the better it takes, the better it tastes, right? Isn't that very interesting? So this one was the simplest of the simplest, okay? Literally like 4 ingredients. And it was so delicious, I'm telling you. And I'm not typically a heated up kale girl, like a cooked kale girl. Usually I like fresh kale, uncooked, but I'm slowly becoming a cooked kale girl because this was so good. And again, I season stuff up really well, so I have to give my hats off to the way I season things. For the most part, you can have any seasoning. Of course, you want to check for sugar and all that stuff. Just check the back. But I typically stay with onion powder, garlic powder, and a little adobo sometimes. And then I have this special seasoning that I like that you've probably been seeing in all of the videos. That's from, I think it's from Lawry's. It has a blue top. You'll see it in all the videos that I've been showing you guys. I love that season. Nature's Own, I think is what it's called. I use that for everything. And usually I'll use a little hot sauce, maybe some red pepper flakes, just because I really like spicy food. And y'all, this was hitting. This was hitting. Top tier. Top tier. You got to try it. Okay, here's the last recipe. And this, you see it. You see it. It was so creative and so delicious, okay? And again, you're finding out a lot about me. I'm not typically a steak girl. Every now and then I might have some steak, but I typically stick to chicken and seafood, ground beef, ground turkey, things like that, you know? But I think I ain't mad at it. So what I did is I made a cottage cheese wrap or a cottage cheese taco. It's so easy to make. And y'all, I can't wait to try some more cottage cheese recipes because cottage cheese is low-key going viral right now, okay? If you've been anywhere near TikTok, you know that people have been making all kind of stuff out of cottage cheese. So this was super simple. All I did was blend up the cottage cheese and the spinach and used my little immersion blender. And then I seasoned it up, of course, so don't skip that step because it's not gonna taste that good if you don't season it. So I seasoned it, I laid it out. Now you don't have to immersion blend it. I just felt like I wanted the texture to be completely flat. I didn't know how it was gonna be if I left it intact the way it was. So I decided to immersion blend it. Laid it out on parchment paper and spreaded it out and then baked it in the oven. And then when I took it out, baby, okay, I was very happy because I've heard people say it was hit or miss for them, that they weren't able to get it right. But I got it right on the first try. Now, I have also seen people flip it and then rebake it so you can get a little more crispy of a feel because people use it for tacos. They use it for pizza crust. Pretty much anything you can think of that's low carb, high protein. But I didn't. I just used it as was. Now, I was a little tricky with getting the form to stay intact. So I think maybe I could have baked it a little bit longer or made it a little bit thicker. But overall, I feel like it worked and it tasted so good. So then I made the steak, of course. Put all my veggies in the pan, seasoned it up a little bit. Of course, cooked it in chicken broth, okay? And then, or I might have cooked it in beef broth. And then I just threw it in my taco shell with a little pico and ate it up. Devoured it, okay? It was so good. So as y'all can see, y'all girl has been eating very well. And she's still been losing weight, okay? And that is the key. So I'm going to put up some pictures here just so you guys can see where she started and where she is now. Because again, 50 pounds, you don't really realize how much of a difference 25 pounds makes, let alone 50 pounds, until you see it in a picture. So I was talking to my husband last night, and of course he's been saying things now, low-key shady stuff, but I'm that girl, I don't care. Like, we have witty banter, we talk, and I don't get offended by anything he says. I take it all in stride. We joke with each other, we offend each other. We are that couple, okay? And so he was like, you didn't realize you was that big? I was like, no, you didn't. He says little things like that. And again, if he had said it at that time, maybe it would have been a little bit of a different response. But now he could say it because your girl looks like this. She don't look like she used to look, okay? And so, you know, I just thought it was funny. I was like, why you ain't tell me? He was like, I couldn't tell you. And you couldn't. Don't do that. You couldn't. So I appreciate, you know, just our relationship and the fact that we can have those conversations and, you know, nobody gets offended. I'm not in my feelings about it. I understand that I needed to make the changes that I needed to make. And I do feel like subtly he was saying things every now and then, but of course, you know, he wants me to be happy. And at that time, I really felt happy. I was telling my girlfriend the other day, I said, you know what? That was a season of my life where I wasn't stressing about losing the weight. I felt like I looked good, you know? But of course, now looking back, I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm clutching my pearls because I'm like, And at the end of the day, I was not healthy, okay? And not to get into too much of it because, again, I do like to keep some things private here, but there was a health scare that came up. And because of that health scare, which I won't go into too many details about it, of course, you know, some of my friends know that are watching now what happened, but it was very scary. Let's just say that. So that flipped me. I said, oh, no, not at my age. So that's what kind of pushed me to make these changes. So I'm glad that I did. Because we need me, right? I feel like I want to be here on this earth. And so we don't want things like that to come up because of weight and because of unhealthy lifestyles. I feel like if I can be in control of something, then I'm gonna be in control of it, and that I can be in control of. And so that's why I started to make all of these changes, positive changes, and I'm going to keep going. I'm not done yet because I feel like I still have a little bit more weight to lose. I'm not quite sure what that number is. I think it's more going to be about a feeling for me as opposed to a number. So I'm not going to keep looking at the scale like, you know, for the weight to drop. Of course, that's a plus, you know, and I want to see numbers drop, but I really want to feel how I want to feel. I want to you know, I want it to be more about how I look, how I feel in my clothes, which by the way, I can't fit anything anymore, but it's going to be more about a feeling and a look for me than about a number on a scale. And I think that's always the best thing because the scale is going to go up and down, but how you feel is how you feel. And that's the real win. That's the real flex. That's the real thing that we want. We want to look good and we want to feel good. Okay. Not necessarily about a number, although again, numbers are good, okay? So I have given it to you all, okay? You know exactly what I'm doing. You know how to do hyperketosis. If you're new here, again, it's the new wave to drop weight quickly. But again, for me, I can't do it for that long, but it typically is a 40-day program for phase 1. Then you go right on into keto for phase 2. So if you're wondering exactly how to do it, you want to get on a healthy lifestyle journey like me, then make sure you check the description. I'll put all the details there in terms of how you can download that guide. It's really a handy guide. Again, it's free. And then I'll be coming out with an ebook soon, which I'm really excited about. That'll give you all the recipes I just shared with you plus more. Okay, so you know what I'm eating, you know what I'm doing, you know my workouts, you know everything. You know I'm intermittent fasting. You know the exact formula that I use to drop almost 50 pounds in how long, y'all? September, October, November, December, January, February. 7 months, right? No, 6 months. 6 months, right? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Somebody gonna correct me. But yes, I think that is a great timeline to lose the amount of weight that I lost. That's basically a little less than 50 pounds, than 10 pounds a month. And I am not mad at it, okay? I'm so proud of myself because I just never thought I would be here. And I'm just looking forward to continuing this journey of more just healthy living and not going overboard with that because I'm not that health guru, okay? Every now and then I have stuff I'm not supposed to have. I have McDonald's, I have Zaxby's, I have Chipotle. I do. Don't judge me, okay? But again, when I'm doing my calorie deficit, It's all built in. I track everything with MyFitnessPal, so make sure to download that. It's a great tool. There is a cost to it, but I found it the most useful tool to be able to just quickly punch in. If I'm on the go and I'm like, do I want to have this? Is it worth it? I'll put it in the system and I'll say, oh, yeah, it's worth it. Or I have enough calories to be able to balance that out. I also track my other macros too, so the fat and all that, carbs and all of that. I have all that plugged into MyFitnessPal so I can stay on track with all of my macro goals. Okay? So that's it, you guys. I feel so good. I just feel so good, okay? And I just love videos like this where I can sit down on my couch and I can talk to you just like this. I know it's a safe space. I know that you are gonna hype me up. You're just as excited for me as I am for myself and as I would be for you, okay? And I love that. I love this space where I can come and feel comfortable enough to share and to film these types of videos for you guys. So hopefully you've been inspired. Hopefully I pumped you up. You can do this. If you wanna do hyperketosis, let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to put as much information as I can below, but reach out to me, use me as a resource. I'm here for you. You totally got this. We're gonna be fine by summertime. We are. So get ready, okay? We're doing this, okay? Lock in, all right? Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully you'll give me a thumbs up on this video, which by the way, let me just say this. The way that I know what type of content you want, the way that I know you actually like it here is by you commenting, because YouTube doesn't give or doesn't push content of creators who aren't getting people interacting with their videos. Now, of course, I don't want it to be fake. I want you to actually really enjoy the video, but if you do, comment. That helps me so much more than you guys know, all right? So hopefully you guys will subscribe here. If you're new, join the family, all right? This is what we do around here. We motivate, we share positivity. Sharing is caring, all right? And of course, as always, I would love it if you came back to catch another video, in which case, I'll see you then.